Welcome to Pax Europiana here from Brussels. I'm now since 2016 the first time in Brussels, and I'm very happy about it. I lived here for 6 happy years from 98 to 2004 before the big enlargement, and it was a very big success. I really loved it. And now I'm back. There seems to be some people have lost a little bit the belief in what we're doing, but I will repower. That's the repower, and I take it very clearly, literally, repower the European Union with the spirit of the big enlargement, because I'm here obviously to support the EU integration of Ukraine, Moldova, Georgia. Of course, after first we need to freeze Serbia, but after they join the West, we have to also include Serbia. And then obviously for Kosovo in the European Union in 2029, for Albania, our ally Montenegro and Macedonia, Albania obviously, and also Bosnia must be in the European Union, and also one day Serbia after the Western turn, which hopefully they will do in the future. The EU also to join Nato, that's my main campaign this week, and obviously to prepare the institution for the breakup of the hostile terror regime Russia. That's very important. That will be the conference which I'm speaking tomorrow in the European Parliament. And I will also promote open European Union, opening the labor market, having the euro. It's a lot of action at Schuman, it was always. And obviously the euro for all candidate countries, obviously the open labor market, the fast-track economic integration, you know that, and obviously also the opening to the West in terms of a free trade agreement with Mercosur, with the United States of America, and with, of course, Australia, India, Pakistan, and with all Uzbekistan, obviously, and the African Union, and ASEAN, and of course Indonesia and Philippines. All the things we should have done when I was first here already, and we didn't do it because of the French protectionism and the failure of the Germans and Austrians to overcome the internal populism and Merkel's failures, and that was of course very negative. Yeah? So we have to do all these free trade agreements. We have to enlarge the European Union. The countries who are in NATO are ready. They must be very fast in the European Union, like 2024 in case of Montenegro, and best also with Albania and North Macedonia, because the enemies like in Serbia and in Russia are not waiting. They are running a big rollback campaign, which is unfortunately ignored and unfortunately also supported indirectly by our weak leadership who are not fast enough enlarging the European Union. Yeah, I'm a bit tired. I was just in Pristina. Hello, my friends from Pristina. It was a wonderful 3 days festival of Austrian Kosovo friendship. And be sure I will also promote Kosovo in the European Union and in NATO. Now when the association will be discussed, that will probably have to be accepted in some milder form, but in exchange for NATO membership. I will also campaign for Austria to join NATO, for Bosnia to join NATO, for the European Union to join NATO, for Ukraine to join NATO. I will campaign for a big 2,000 billion, 2 trillion EU debt package. And Mr. Lindner, you will not stop this. Yeah? We need common debt. Obviously, we need a big common debt package of 2 trillion in order to fund the energy transition, to rearm Europe, repower Europe, and also build the infrastructure, interconnectivity, Eastern Europe, for Mariupol, which must be liberated with European airplanes, American airplanes and European tanks, F-15, F-16, excuse me, I don't know the difference so well. We need American airplanes and we need German tanks and all European tanks to go towards the liberation of Ukraine. That is what we need, and we need that very urgently in order to liberate Mariupol and then reconnect it, reintegrate it, and build from Brussels to Mariupol the highway, from Mariupol to Durrës, and all along on the Adriatic Highway, the railway connections, fast trains towards Eastern Europe. This is all very expensive, and this must be funded by the EU and not by the poor taxpayers of Eastern European countries, as it is in the European interest. Yeah? Also the Americans have funded their highways to Arizona and to Montana nationwide, union-wide. We must do the same. Yes, with America, this anti-Americanism of the French must be defeated, and we must join, of course, a free trade agreement, conclude that one. The EU to join NATO is the logical step, and Austria as well. That's what I will campaign for, and also to prepare the institutions for the impending disaster which is coming in the East, because we will have another breakup like we had it of the Austrian-Hungarian Empire, we had it of the Soviet Union, we had it of Yugoslavia, and it will come again in form of the Russian Federation's breakup, and this must be explained that this is something ultimately good. Yeah. It will be very difficult, we must manage it well, and I will explain exactly 34 countries, new countries, and they will have a process like former Yugoslavia had it with new countries. Then they will be regionally integrated in the structures like the Regional Cooperation Council and like CEFTA, and with the euro as currency or Euro Pact in the beginning, and all the same things we have done with the end of the Soviet Union and with the end of Yugoslavia. The end of Russia is coming. They will be defeated first on the battlefield in Ukraine, and it will be no nuclear escalation because Russia has nothing to do in Ukraine. They will be defeated, we will win, and they will lose, and they will be dismantled. This is the logic. And this I also will explain very well on this conference. I will explain all in various topics also. For my friends in Kosovo, be sure about it. I will mention you very often and also fight for recognition, because we have not done our homework in the first part of enlargement. We have not exactly done so much investment as we should in Romania, Bulgaria, and we have not allowed them in the institution. I will obviously campaign for Schengen membership of Romania, Bulgaria. I will fight the Austrian position on that one as much as I can this week in Brussels. Be sure about it. And I will also fight for a united Europe, for a united Nato, for the OECD enlargement, also very important, you know, Brazil and all the other countries, the end of BRICS, the end of CSTO, and the whole Russian anti-European, anti-Western network we will dismantle together with Russia. That will be very good. And yes, it will be no nuclear war. And I will not lead to the Third World War, but to another 30 years of immense prosperity for the world, like the last 30 years from 90 to this one. We have reached now close to 100 trillion GDP from 22 in 30 years. We will do the same the next 30 years, and the Russian people will be free. They will be in free nations, in 34 of them, and that's the logic of what we're doing since 30 years. And it's much better for them, it's much better for us, it's much better for the whole world. No Wagner soldiers funded by Putin killing people in Africa and Asia or in Ukraine. That will be all over, and that's the logic of the general system. And that's why I'm here. I'm here now first time since 2016. The future is Europe, I see painted here. I really like that one, and that's absolutely a happy moment for me. It's the Swedish presidency, that's the council building. I will also show you a lot of the geography. A lot of my friends from who watch this podcast might not have been in Brussels up to now. Look at it, that's one of the main commission buildings. That's the European Council, and the European Parliament is over down there, if I correctly remember. I had a lot of happy times here. That's the Austrian representation. I will make a pro-Schengen enlargement event, be sure about it. And I will be very active the coming days here to promote freedom, a united Europe, a unity of Europe as an answer to the Russian war, and of course energy union, very important, infrastructure union, very important, yeah, but including Ukraine and Kosovo and everybody. That's the logic of my, I think it's very logical what I'm doing. Yeah, I had many happy years here. Oh, the British representative, no, that's the Norway. I will learn all these things again because I'm really a little bit out of track. What I see here, I will report you, and it will be very interesting. Hopefully it will be also entertaining to meet some old friends again. I'm very much looking forward to that because I was a long time now here, and I really loved it in these great years from 98 to 2004. I was in a way the second generations of Austrians who were here, because the first one came 95 when we joined, but it was really very motivating, and with all my EDS background I could work in SME very well to prepare enlargement, and as you have seen in my podcast, it was a tremendous success. We simply have to do more of it, and it will be very good. And we also have to reform a little bit the European Union, have more unity, have stronger European institutions, more rule of law, more military capacity on the European level in kind of procurement and common assets. That's very important as well. Common aircraft carriers in Frontex, and Frontex to maybe a European Coast Guard, a separate one. That's all very important topics. I have talked in this podcast already about it. And I will promote what I can do in 5 days. You know, you can only do so much, but maybe I come more often back because I really like it. What I miss here, of course, is the Nato flag. But be sure I will lift it very soon. So that's for the entry, for the start of this week. I will come up with more information and more videos during this week. And thanks a lot. And more to come from Pax Europiana, from the European capital in Brussels. And I'm very happy to be back. Bye. Thanks a lot.